Welcome to Flatiron Crossroads here in beautiful Gloucester, Virginia, a small performing arts venue. And we're doing a series called The Soul of Music, a master class. And it's going to be hosted by Mr. Jason Cale. And so without further ado, I'd like to welcome Jason Cale. Thank you.
Welcome everybody to Flatiron Crossroads. I'm Jason Cale, and welcome to the first episode of The Soul of Music happening here at Flatiron Crossroads. Really happy that you can join us here today and abroad, streaming it from your homes. And this show is going to be something special to me, for myself and Raymond, the owner of this venue. It's cultivating this music community that is rich with history. From Ella Fitzgerald, the Wooten Brothers, to Bruce Hornsby. There's so many more that have come right here from this area. And so with this show, I hope to interview songwriters, some of our top songwriters and performers, as well as educators from this area, and even producers and recording engineers as well, and give some insightful, have some insightful conversation as to why we do what we do, and hopefully convey to you maybe some motivations if you are an aspiring songwriter or engineer or, educator of any sort. You pull some valuable things out of these conversations that we're going to have each month. So without further ado, please welcome Anthony Rosano to the stage as our first guest. So Anthony and I, we met, literally, I'd been living in Europe. And the first time I met Anthony was at the Yorktown pub. I was doing a little open mic or something there, and you showed up, and I want to say it was probably one of the first times you tried out. Was it the Devil's Hand?
It might have been, yeah.
I think you were trying it out that night.
You looked way different back then.
I sure did.
Yeah.
So from there. We've just kind of, we've jammed a little bit. There were times when we've just kind of connected and jammed, and so it's really special to kind of get to do this, and you've come so far since that time, man.
Well, thanks, man. Yeah.
And so it's going to be really cool, I think, for our viewers to kind of get some, I want them to get to know Anthony Rosano on a deeper level, a spiritual level, because the reason we do what we do is because we believe
thing,
it.
Yeah.
And it's been our escape, it's been our release, it's been our everything in music. So that's kind of what I'm hoping to share with people, and we'll give a little insight to our songwriting. And so first question right off the bat.
Okay.
Why do you do what you do?
I do what I do because when I was probably about 3 or 4 years old, I remember riding in the back seat of my mom's car and hearing, hey, mama said the way you move, gonna make you sweat, gonna make you groove. And being like, what is going on? What is that? And I just felt a connection to right away. Boom. I remember it when I was a little kid, before school, and wanting to do that. Like that resonant feeling that you get from music. And that's what I wanted to do. It had nothing to do with any kind of being a rock star or fame or anything like that. It was just that specific feeling that I remember when I was a kid, being in the backseat of that car and hearing that song and hearing music.
Wow.
In that way, And I've wanted to do it my entire life.
How old were you then?
Like probably 3 or 4.
Wow.
I was little. And I didn't even end up getting a guitar or anything till I was like 15.
Yeah.
But it was so picture that amount of longing. If there's something that you've wanted, not necessarily coveted, like wanted a material thing, but if there's something that you wanted, I wanted it from when I was like 3 or 4 until I was like 15, until I finally got a guitar.
Yeah, it's interesting how, life, I guess God or whoever, is looking out for you. Eventually it's going to happen,
It's going to happen.
Well, I think
And
we
it's
are
just
who we
all-
are.
Yeah.
I think we are who we are, you know, and that's what everybody, you know, if you're a painter or a cook or whatever, or a mechanic, you know, you are who you are.
Did your folks, I mean, so obviously your mama was into Zeppelin. So,
Yeah.
So what other styles were played around the house
Everything.
during that age of 3 to 15, man?
Everything. Grew up listening to everything. So basically, what would be considered now classic rock. I listened to. My grandmother was first generation off the boat from Ireland, so you know, some Irish music. She was very big into country.
Yeah.
I didn't even find out later. Like I have a cousin in Ireland, Ken Brown. And Ken Brown was an amateur sort of country singer. I didn't know that. I didn't know that until I was, you know, till I was older. But yeah. So he had a record out called Ken Brown Sings Country
Well,
in Ireland. Yeah, I didn't, you know.
Well,
but
you know that whole Irish, the way they write songs, it's very similar to.
Well,
you know,
yeah,
I mean,
yeah. Country to me,
music.
country music and bluegrass it's the Irish, the Celtic influence and
That's
blues
right.
together,
Yes,
and that's what makes
Yeah, man.
that up.
So, you know, when you were 15, what drew you into finally, like, kind of focusing in on the guitar, you know, and
Well, I mean, I originally wanted to play drums as the first thing I wanted to do, and I had a cousin, my cousin Jeannie. She had one of those Sears drum sets with the paper heads. You know what I'm talking about?
Oh,
You know,
yeah.
remember those, like the toy ones?
I went through a couple of those.
Yeah,
myself
I went
when
through.
was little.
So she wasn't doing anything with it, so I borrowed that first. And the house I grew up in, my grandparents lived in the same house. And I'd be outside. I had to take it outside to play, and I'd take it outside to play. And my grandfather would I didn't notice who Buddy Rich was at the time either.
Yeah.
But my grandfather would yell out there. He'd be like, "Buddy Rich, give it a break," you know. So that was not practical. And then I tried bass for a little bit, for like a minute. I found like an old, somebody was throwing out, I garbage picked a bass guitar that somebody was throwing out. It was like a Teisco or something. And I tried that, and that just wasn't my bag, wasn't my thing. And then finally, I got a real proper, I remember when I was 15, my dad it was around Christmas, like 2 weeks before Christmas. And he's like, "Hey, come on, take a ride with me. We're going to the mall to get Christmas presents or whatever." So I remember we went to this mall in Smithtown. I forget the name of the mall. And we walked in, and when we walked in, I remember the music. Like I would always, you know, look at the music stores like da. And it's like we're walking in. There's this big music store with all these guitars on the wall. And my dad goes like walking in there. I'm like, "What? It's happening! It's happening! It's really happening!" And then, you know, so I ended up getting a little Area Pro 2.
Yeah.
And a little Gorilla tube cruncher,
Yes, sir.
and was like going nuts the whole way home. And like I said, it was like 2 weeks before Christmas, and he was like, "You know, you can't have this till you're not allowed to have it till Christmas." And that lasted about 3. You know, I walked in the door. I'm like, "Ma, he said I can't have it till." She was like, "He can play it. He can have it." So, and that was it. And then I couldn't play anything. You know, I did. Obviously, it's not like you didn't know how to tune it, nothing.
Right.
You know.
Was there like somebody like local that kind of helped you get started? Did you take some lessons or did
No,
you just
I
teach
just
yourself?
taught myself, man. I went to, I probably had the guitar for 3 months or so. Couldn't do anything with it. Couldn't figure, you know, like I was just making noise with it and trying to put records on, and it wasn't like necessarily holding a tennis racket and pretending, you know. I was legitimately trying to figure out like, okay, well this, and then I would move up the string. And like, okay, well that's this. I know that sounds like it's in tune. I didn't know that it was in tune. I just knew it was.
Yeah.
And then I think a friend of my uncle's showed me how to actually not tune a guitar to pitch, but tune a guitar to itself.
Right.
You know, the fifth fret.
Yes, sir.
You know.
Yes, sir.
So he showed me how to do that. So I'm like, oh wow, that was a game changer. You know. And I remember the very first thing that I learned how to actually play. Most people say like "Smoke on the Water," which, you know, you can kind of do that, and that riff. That doesn't really count to me, though. You know what I mean? Because you never do it, when you're learning how to play guitar, you never do it the right way. You do it on the low E string,
Yes.
bum, 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 right? So it's not really.
Or with the G and
Right,
or
right.
the G and D string.
Well,
and
that's how that's kind of, more close to how you're supposed to do it. But or like the Batman or Peter Gunn, that kind of thing. That stuff, I mean, it counts, but it doesn't really count. The first song there's a song by Judas Priest called The Sentinel.
Okay.
Right? And I was at this time in my life, I was a heavy metal kid, and the Sentinel, and I learned how to do a perfect fifth.
Yeah.
It was just like one day, it was just like, boom, boom, I learned a fifth, and I'm like, wait a minute, that sounds like this. And then I sat there for like an entire day and figured out that whole beginning intro thing to the Sentinel from Judas. And once I had that and had the fifth, and realized like, well, look, if I do this and then I move it here and I move it here, I'm playing heavy metal. You know what I mean? Like I can play whatever.
Dude, I have a student right now at the School of Rock where I teach, and this little kid, man, he's an amazing kid, and he's probably one of my best students. And he literally started taking from me about 6 months ago, and when he came in, he was like, I want to learn how to play Jason Aldean or Luke Bryan, But guess what, man? Last week, I showed him how to play a power chord. He got an electric guitar for Christmas. And that kind of opened his eyes up. And then I showed him what a power chord was at this last lesson last week. And I let him listen to For Whom the Bell Tolls by Metallica. That little dude, his eyes lit up. Discovering that fifth as a guitar player, man.
It's a game changer.
And you're like, oh, I don't even need to learn chords.
Yeah. And
I
for a
can
long
write a
time,
song
I still hardly
with
play
just
chords.
These two notes. Yeah, dude.
Yeah, no, it was a game changer. Yeah, so that was it. So then I kind of probably about 6 months into having a guitar, then I'm in a band.
Yeah.
So it was like I went like 3 months of like making noise, and then all of a sudden like this drastic, like from the next 3 months, I'm playing guitar in a band with dudes. I'm 15 and these dudes are like 25 years old.
Right.
Playing backyard parties, that kind of thing. Doing, Def Leppard tunes and, stuff like that. And then really got into, at the time I wasn't like I was a Zeppelin fanatic. I've always loved Led Zeppelin. But they started calling me JJ, these older guys. And I think part of it was because I was a sloppy player. I'm still a sloppy player. So I was like, what? And they were like, Jimmy Jr. You're like, Jimmy Jr., Jimmy Jr. You're like, Jimmy Page Jr. And yeah, it's just because I was sloppy. That's it. I didn't know what I was doing, So then I really got into more into the Zeppelin thing, and that got me to the British blues thing. And then I read this this is back before the internet, and there was magazines, and I was reading a guitar magazine, and Glenn Tipton from Judas Priest was talking about Peter Green's Fleetwood Mac and Peter Green, and when he was in the Blues Breakers.
Yep.
And I'd been kind of familiar with like the Clapton Blues Breaker thing a little bit, not like but I was like, well, I got to check this out. If this is who he likes, then I got to check that out, and that was it. Then it was another complete. It was like being in the back seat of that car again. You know what I mean? Like being 3 years old again and hearing, Peter Green, Rattlesnake Shake, and all that. I was like,
so that turned you on to the blues, you guess you could say.
I would say that turned me on to the search for actual blues, right?
Yeah.
Prior to that, my idea of blues was, although I didn't know it, was like some of the old Whitesnake stuff. David Coverdale was singing Bobby Bland songs, and obviously since I've been loving you from Zeppelin, I remember the first time hearing that and being like, what is this? This went from heavy bombastic rock to this. But it was my first like experience or exposure to true, oh, this is what these guys are doing. And then I started putting it together like, well, who is Peter Green into? And then Peter Green was into B.B. King and Otis Rush and all of these guys. And then I'm like, oh, wow, I hear that. And who are they into? And then it leads you to Sun House. You know what I mean?
I miss those magazines. Well, I mean, they're still out there.
Yeah.
But like I teach a lot of students. Like I taught 22 people this week. You know, and a lot of my students are so just into Spotify or whatever. And you know, one of those crucial things, like just like you said, you know, I was probably 16 and a half when I took my first guitar, you know, lesson and picked it up and taken it from the local guy. But you know, once he was like, look at these guitar magazines, and you're doing the reading of like these people that you're listening to, you know, and you're getting to see their insight with them. Like for me, like my big influences were Steve Vai, Joe Satriani,
Right.
And you know, I was listening
From
to
Long Island, two other guys from Long
yeah,
Island too. just saying.
Ingve,
Yeah.
and you know, and you read, and you know, that's how I discovered John McLaughlin, you know, the John Scofield, and kind of this other side of music a little bit deeper into, you know, the stuff I was into. And so yeah, I encourage everybody, you know, it's watching, or if you're, you know, or a mentor to a student or something, keep giving them like little insights to the influences of the players that you're talking about. I think that's important to remember.
Yeah, I mean, or if you're a younger, or wherever you're at, look at who influenced you, and look to see who their influences
That's
are,
right.
where they get it from. Because I think musically, I mean, that's really, at the end of the day, you're influenced by everything that's around you. You're influenced by everything you hear. And then you digest that, and then that kind of comes out.
That is the soul of music.
Yeah, you're reinterpreting what you've already sort of heard, and adding your own life experience and adding this and that to it. So
You're adding your DNA to it.
absolutely.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Man, yeah, so, you know, you went from Peter Green, you know, and you and I have talked before about how into metal we were.
I mean, what?
Yeah, I'm still
You look like Dimebag Darrell. What are you talking about? Come on, bro.
Yeah, dye my goatee pink, right? Dude, no, you know, you and I have talked at length about it, and you even had some semi-success, you know, in a metal band out
when
in
I
New
was
York,
younger, yeah.
you know, and you want to talk about that?
I can, yeah. I mean, you know, I was.
Are y'all interested? Y'all want to know about this? I feel like it's pretty interesting to hear.
Yeah, I was in a metal band called Abnormal Thoughts. I didn't name it. I was like 19 years old, and I was a guitar player in that band. I didn't sing or anything. I was just a guitar player. And yeah, we had some regional success. We put a record out.
What year was that?
I want to say 89, 90-ish. No, it had to be later than that. 90, like 93, yeah, 93, 94 probably. I'm not old. Yeah. So yeah, 93, 94. And, you know, we got, the other guys again in the band were older than I was. They all had day gigs and families. And we were presented with some opportunities to do some stuff, and it was kind of like, you know, like we got a call to do on like a Tuesday. I'm not like I don't want to like be like dropping stuff, whatever. Anyway, we got a call on a Tuesday to do like a big show in upstate New York in the 90s, and on like, you know, hey, can you be there Thursday morning? You're probably going to be the first band on stage, but it's a great opportunity. And you know, two of the guys in the band at the time.
Tell them what it was, man. I thought
it was
cool.
It was Woodstock. It was when we were doing the Woodstock thing. And thank you. But so the two guys in the band were like, man, I can't do it. You know, I can't call out of my job. And for me, that was like, all right, well, I think I'm done. Like, I don't, you know what I mean? Like, I'm a younger dude. This is what I want to do. This is not, you know. And I know that's, in their defense, I know that's what they wanted to do, and they just have family obligations and responsibilities.
They're taking the solid route. Yep.
I totally get that. But I was just, you know, for me, that was kind of it. Like, all right, I don't want to do that. And then there was some other things that came up, and it was the same sort of thing. Like, oh, I can't do that, you know. you're not going to make any money. You know, it's not especially at any point. You know, I don't think anybody. Well, I don't say anybody. I didn't get into music for money. I didn't get in it to be famous.
Right.
You know what I mean? Even though the people that I idolized when I was younger were famous. You know what I mean? As I got older and started really getting into music and trying to find my own voice, I realized that I start gravitating more to people who don't care about anything. You know what I mean? Like, well, not anything, but don't care about anything fame related. They're not doing it for fame. Right. They're not doing it for that. They're doing it for artistic expression. And, you know, like Rory Gallagher, there's always that, what would Jesus do? I almost wanted to get like a bracelet, what would Rory do? Yeah, man. You know, because I absolutely love Rory Gallagher, and it wasn't like a single guy.
I don't think any true artist emerges from wanting to satisfy their own ego through fame, right?
Right.
And it's all about, you know, are you being pure of heart when you pick up your instrument or you perform?
Absolutely.
And at the end of the day, success is not measured with material wealth or fame or anything like that. Success, you know, is getting to do something you love to do, whether it's at, you know, in a pub singing songs for people to sing along to, or you know, or getting to perform on stage doing all your original music. And at the end of the day, the money doesn't matter. You know, it's about what can I give back to the people, and how can I express myself in its purest form. The balance of that is just like we're all finding out during COVID. Is like, how do we maintain being able to do that? You know, where's that balance? Where do you find balance between, you know, able to make a living? Because we have to make money.
Yeah, have to make.
We have to
make
money.
Living. Yeah, I mean,
I liked what you said. You know, I like to bring in my own gear. It's part of. That's what I feel like I get paid for. The music's free.
Yeah, I get paid. I get paid to load and unload gear. That's what I get paid to do. The music part I do for free.
Yeah, brother.
And you pay me to load and unload.
That's right. Pay me for scheduling those bands.
Yeah.
Scheduling my guys. Yeah.
You know, I'm very thankful and feel very fortunate, especially more so now, through all of this, to have the opportunity to play music in a room full with as however many humans can fit in that room, you know, and share the experience of that musical moment with people. Okay, that's invaluable.
Yeah, man.
That's invaluable. Hopefully, you know, I can make enough money to help put some food on the table. Yep. You know, but I mean, I don't know. I don't want to say I'm not worried about money, but it's not necessarily a driving thing for me. You know what I mean? Yeah. And then you get into other things with business where it's like, you know, on the business aspect of it, because we are in the music business, you know, I tend to not do things or shy away from things that are not going to be mutually beneficial or successful for people. You know what I mean? Like, there's plenty of places that I've played and it's just not a good fit, and people may be like, hey, we want you to, you know, and I'm like, yeah, it's not a good fit. Yep. Like, you know what I mean? It's not a good fit. Or, you know, I've turned down some gigs for stuff during this where I'm like, you're not gonna make money. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, you have a business. Like, it's not, you know, it's not beneficial. It's not beneficial to you. You know what I mean? It's not beneficial. So, you know, New Year's this year, you know, I didn't do, this is one of the first New Year's I didn't do a New Year's gig because I looked at it and I'm like, how's anybody, hire a DJ. Like, I don't want to be like that. I don't want to say that, but your venue, you know what I mean? The venue. Yeah. It will be better for you. And then let's do something big when it opens back up. You know what I mean? Let's do something where we can all be a little safer and have a better time. But, so yeah, I don't know. Money has to be considered when you're doing this for a living. Yeah, man. But it can't be the driving thing.
I mean, this venue right here, Flatiron, this is a non-profit venue. So speaking of money, you can make a donation and keep this thing.
Yeah, please.
You know, help help this venue. This venue is start of something really special here in this region, in this area.
It's a great venue. I mean, it's amazing.
It's going to be really cool to watch this thing grow. Ray and his board of directors are doing a fantastic job with it. But yeah, you know, art provides, in general, provides so much in any venue that gets introduced to an area such as this. All right, we're in Gloucester, bro.
Yeah.
There ain't another music venue
Right.
miles around that's like this. And so, guess what? This venue right here is going to provide, you know, income, you know, monetary benefits. The monetary benefits of having a venue in your small town is priceless. You know, that's how you fill up hotel rooms. It's how you, you know, you bring in new people to see your beautiful town here in Gloucester. So yeah, and that's you know, it ties back into us, man, as artists. You know, bringing them into the venues, and that's how we help them too, man. Yeah. So, you know, all right, I want to, you know, Anthony Rosano now is like into blues, you know, and what was the game changer to you? I know your backstory, you know what you did, you know. I know you were blue collar as all get out, you know, and then you came across a mutual good friend of mine that passed away a few years ago, Walt Redmond Jr. And Walt Redmond Jr.,
Incredibly talented guy.
Man, oh man. I lived here 2002 to 2006, and Walt Jr. Was a pretty awesome life force here in this area.
Yeah.
And he and I became really good friends, and it's funny, man, me and Anthony, we just missed each other. I think by like just a few months. I moved to Europe, and shortly after I moved, that's when Walt passed away. But I know Walt, I think you were installing carpet or something in his house, right? And that's how y'all met?
I met Walt. So here, I met Walt. So, well, we got time. This is a kind of.
Oh yeah, dude.
All right.
No,
so,
man,
yeah,
that's
yeah,
why
I was
we're
looking
here.
at the. I'm like, all right. So this is a convoluted.
Dude,
story.
this is why we're here.
So,
It's great.
I moved down here. I forget. I think I was playing. I started playing guitar again. I'd given up guitar. So after I left New York to move down here in '96. That's when the heavy metal band in New York fell apart. I was like, I'm done, not doing this. And I'd come down here to visit my wife's family. It was my fiance at the time, and we decided to move down to the Hampton Roads area. I sold all my stuff. I'm out. I'm done with this music thing. If I can't get these guys to play Woodstock, what am I doing? You know what I mean? I'm just wasting my time. And now, I'm going to move to another state where I don't know anybody. So I went a good 10 years with I didn't even play. I didn't play.
Wow.
And my one Father's Day, I get a Strat. They picked me up a Strat, right? So now at the time, I didn't play, but I was so heavy into, I went into this blues scholar thing. My friend J.D. Sylvia, he had a radio show on at the time, and I would listen to that. And, I got really into going back into researching blues and stuff. So anyway, get a guitar, start playing again. It was quick, you jump right back into it. So it's pretty quick for me. I started playing in bands again. So I was playing in this band, this cover band. I forget the name. It was the River Boys. I was playing in the River Boys.
Okay.
I think that's the band I was in, playing guitar. I meet this guy, Jimmy Wiseman. Jimmy Wiseman was the bass player for a band called the Blue Lords that was pretty big around here, right? Jimmy tells me Blue Lords, Fat Matt, who's an incredible guitar player. This guy was rest in peace, Matt. Great guitar player. He was getting ready to retire from the band. They needed a guitar player for me to come down. I came down. They were like, I went to this place, Rosie's in Norfolk, which was right down the street from my house. And they had like the whole, you know, enormo dome. It was like a room like not much bigger than this, but they had like this enormo dome PA and this crazy light show at like, you know, it was just like insane. It was like a Coliseum show in a smaller venue, you know. And I was just like, I sat in with him. I played a couple tunes. Tony Bullard, he was a guitar player, is still a dear friend of mine. You know, him and I started talking, and I was just like, it kind of wasn't really for me, you know. I didn't think it was going to be a good fit, so I didn't do it. But I maintained a friendship with Wiseman. Wiseman calls me up. He's like, hey, man, he started playing with Walt. He's like, man, I got this other project. He's like, you want to come play? I said, I mean, maybe, you know, I don't know. So he's like, man, we're playing. It was a place on Shore Drive, and I can't remember the name of it. So they're playing there. He's like, come down. I said, well, who's playing? He's like, it's me. It's Walt, this guy, Walt Redmond Jr., singing and playing guitar. He's like, and Scott Travis is playing drums.
Scott Travis.
Now, rewind. Yeah. Scott Travis is the drummer for Judas Priest, who happens to be one of the first songs I learned how to play on guitar. Yeah, so, of course, I'm like, yeah, dude, I'm there. I'm in. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, this is, you know, I'm in.
Scott Travis, still lives here in the area and has played with Racer X. Racer X is another 80s band I freaking love with Paul Gilbert.
Yep.
It's like freaking, stupid good.
So I'm sold. You know, he's got this guy playing, so I'm sold. So I go down to the gig. I don't know any of the songs. I don't know what they're doing. I don't know what. And I remember I bring my gear in to sit in, and Walt was singing and playing guitar. He was a great guitar player, amazing singer. Guy was an amazing singer. And I remember being like, what am I even doing here? Like, what? They don't need anybody else. You know, they don't need anybody. So, but anyway, I sat in with him, and we were playing some Zeppelin, mostly, you know, it was all cover stuff. But I was getting a kick because I got to play with Scott and the band and whatever. So then they asked me to join the band. So I joined the band. I started playing with him. And then, you know, rest in peace, Walt. Walt and I became good friends. Yeah. Scott and I became good friends. We're still friends to this day. Jimmy and I have maintained a friendship forever. So even though that band is not together, and that sort of, you know, Walt had his demons, and that sort of was the demise of that that project. But yeah, so that's how.
But do you think that moment though with that group is kind of like where you felt your home base starting to grow, your foundation, maybe the roots grow in this area?
Well, at the time, I was already rooted. You know, I had a mortgage and kids, and you know what I mean. Like I was already rooted here. I'm here, you know, and I did think it was a different thing. I was just more into getting back into who I was as a musician. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean, and being a musician. So it was more that sort of thing than anything else, you know. Again, it's and I think this is an amazing area for music. There's many talented people in this area. And I've been all over the place. Yeah, and seen lots of musicians, lots of cities. There's so many talented people in this area. Yeah. And the fact that, you know, BC before COVID. You could go out any night of the week in the 757 and randomly hit a venue, and there would be a talented band on stage. There's literally many talented people in this area. So, I feel honored to be included in that community if that's the case. You know what I mean? But it's not. Again, I don't do music for any of that.
Right.
You know what I mean? I try not to even think about like we're just friends. I don't feel like we're in some secret society club. You know what I mean? Of like, you know,
the Templars of music.
Yeah. Like it's not like that. You know what I mean?
Templars.
For me. So I don't know. I think that like almost maybe like a sense of community, and maybe
that's what it feels like here. And I mean, you go to Cali, you go to New York, and dude, it's so cutthroat. It's yeah, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's cutthroat. It is cutthroat. Yeah. And here, like, you know, Anthony's thrown me more than one bone, you know, when I was kind of getting my thing going. And you know, and likewise, I've even thrown him a couple bones from time to time, you know, and we all help out each other. But that's That's what helps our community to thrive, y'all. And it's not just those of you who are, you know, in the audience watching us, because, yeah, we wouldn't be, it would be no fun to play to an empty room. You know, it's already a struggle during the COVID, I think, when you're playing to a video camera in an empty room.
Yeah, I don't. That makes
Oh my gosh, it's so weird. But yeah, it's really.
I just feel like there should always, in anything in life, there should always be a sense of community.
Yeah,
you should
man.
conduct yourself as if you're a member of a community,
Be a
no
good
matter
hu-
what you,
be
no
a
matter
good
what you
human.
do. That's just the way I look at it. You know what I mean?
Just
so I
be
don't.
a good human.
Yeah, I don't think I don't think of it like in those I don't frame it in those terms.
And,
you know?
and it's easier to do that when you're not worried about, you know, when you're not worried about how much am I getting paid or how am I getting treated or whatever. You know, you're taking into all that into account into your music universe. Yeah, man. So when did like you find yourself with your sound with the band and, you know, obviously deeply rooted in that Peter Green,
Yeah, yeah.
all the way from that little seed that was planted when you were 15 to where you are today. It's now blossoming into Anthony Rosano and the Conquerors, your own sound. And so when was the gig, when was it, you know, that you were like, oh, I got this. This
I'll
is
let
my
you know.
sound.
I'll let you know.
You've got your sound, bro. Come on.
I don't know, man. I don't know. It's constantly
Constantly
looking for it.
evolving. You don't know if
Constantly
you want to
looking
do if you don't know if you want to do the acid rock or if you want to be folk blues or
Well, no,
what?
I do know.
What do you want to?
Both. I want to do whatever I want to do. You can do whatever you want to do. Why not?
Yeah,
Why
yeah.
not? You know what I mean? I don't
man.
understand. I'm at the point now where I just feel like I don't know. Like we were talking, it's kind of tongue in cheek and funny, like the way we're talking about heavy metal, and you know. But like, dude, I don't know. I think Motley Crue and Robert Johnson
Yeah, man.
are. You know what I mean? Like, who cares? Who cares?
I
If you
know.
get something from the music, that's the most important part. That's the
Yeah.
most important part of it. So, yeah, I don't know. I mean, we were talking backstage, and I was saying that there's some about stuff we've been doing during COVID, and I've recorded, like I have some songs that I've recorded 4 or 5 different versions of. Solo acoustic, acoustic with like percussion and strings, and then like slow blues versions of the same song, and then like a rock, like almost sounds like a Foo Fighters version of that song, you know? And I've been like wanting to put some stuff out, some new stuff out, and I'm like, well, I can't decide which one I want to put out. And I think I've finally come to the realization that like, we'll just put them all out and let people decide what they like. What do I have to? Why am I thinking what one is somebody gonna like?
Right. Yeah.
Let
that's a
somebody
good way
else
to look
decide
at
what
it.
they like. If they like it, they like it. If they don't like it,
Listen
they
to
don't like
the
it.
other version.
Yeah, or not. I don't know. You know what I mean? Like I don't know. It's like, it's you know. My purpose in that aspect, I think, as a musician, is it's there for our mutual enjoyment.
Yep.
If you don't enjoy it, there are other things you may enjoy, and that's cool.
Yeah.
You know?
There's always aspects of any music you listen to that if you listen deep enough, you can appreciate it. So yeah, man, that's absolutely right. So as far as like, let's just talk briefly about your songwriting, man, and your
Yeah.
songwriting process, because I know all of us are different. And you probably write songs just like most of us, you know, it comes at us in all kinds of different ways, in spurts
Yeah.
probably too. One of my girlfriend, she's reading this book, and it gave a really interesting analogy about ideas, and that they're all floating around in the universe, right? And that idea is just waiting. It's just waiting to connect with the
Yeah.
heart and the soul, you know, to who's channeling in and listening at that given moment.
I agree with that.
And I just really love that analogy. So with that being said, you know, how do you kind of construct your songs? I think this would be interesting for people that are interested in songwriting, and developing your own style and way of doing things.
I have a fishbowl at the house, and I just write random words on little pieces of paper and put it in there. And no, I'm like it.
I was about to say.
No, usually,
No,
I mean,
bro,
it just
don't
depends.
even go there with me in this interview.
No.
Don't even go there.
Sometimes, I mean, it just depends. It just depends. There's not. I tend to think of things the same way, just like performance. When I'm playing with a band, we never write I don't write set lists. I have basically a song list, and I put when I'm playing live, and the guys that I'm on stage with find out either when I start a song or when I turn to them and I'm just doing some weird thing and say like, this is what we're going into, and then they're like, okay, it's always trial by fire, and I believe that that's because the purest way to through expression is to tune into that higher thing.
Yes,
I think songwriting is the same thing. For me, I just kind of, sometimes it'll be an idea or a little spark. I do little things like I have notes on my phone, like I'll hear one line or something. I'll hear a line or somebody will say something. I'm like, oh, I gotta, you know what I mean? Like I'll write that down. And then that might blossom into another idea or another song or, you know what I mean? But as far as like, I don't have like it's not like a roll top desk I sit at with, you know what I mean? Like all this, it could just be wherever. It could just,
I'll like sit there, the smartphone, as much as, social media and everything, I think it's a headache for us artists because, you and I have talked somewhat at length about us being, now we're, in charge of web admin, social media admin. We're doing all this different things, and it distracts us from what we actually want to do, and that's create. But one of the grand things, I guess, about technology today is like on my smartphone, I'll just sit and record a riff.
Yeah, I
idea,
do that. Yeah,
or
I do
sing
that
it,
too, yeah.
or if I hear a line, I'll sing it.
Yeah. I'll do that too. I mean, I kind of keep like just a log of ideas for little snippets and stuff. But generally, for me, the best. I don't want to say the best. For me, my favorite songs are the ones that just sort of, boom, and it just comes out.
Yeah, brother.
It's not me. It just sort of happens, and that's the way it is. And they tend to be simple like simple chord structures.
Yes, sir.
And then I'm like, wow, man, this turned out to be. And it's not because I'm not saying that it turned out to be a good song because I think it's just a good song. It's a good song because this ends up being one that people seem to resonate with. You know what I mean?
Sir.
And that's where I feel like you hit the mark, is because other people get their own thing out of something that you're trying to express yourself, and it may be the same thing, maybe a different thing, but everybody's got their thing with it. So those ones tend to just sort of happen. They just come out of, they just materialize. I think maybe you're just tuned in.
Do you know? We're going to have Anthony perform here in a little bit, y'all. And, but do you know what you're going to even perform right now? Do you know what you're going to play? Yeah, we'll do that. But
not really. I mean, I'm more thinking along the lines of like, okay, I want to do a new song. Mm-hmm. I might have a framework like that, And I'll put it this way. So I was talking with this guy, Simon McBride, who's incredible guitar player. And I was asking him how to, how do you do this? How do you incorporate this different stuff in your playing? And, because I have no idea on any of that stuff. And he was telling me like, maybe I don't say like, oh, I'm going to play Lydian, but I might I might have an idea for a jam and say during this jam I'm going to somehow incorporate this, right? I do sort of the same thing with like something like this. So I'm like, okay, I want to maybe do something new, something that's going to translate well acoustically, because most of my stuff is written for electric, it's not really acoustic stuff.
Right.
I write it on an acoustic guitar, but the whole time I'm writing on acoustic guitar, I'm hearing John Bonham go.
Yeah, man.
So yeah, so I might have ideas, but not necessarily a
I'll
song.
tell you what. So like, what song? If you know the song that right now might be just manifesting itself, what you want to do right now, even if it's the new one. Do you want to talk about one of your songs?
I can do that. That's
like
fine.
maybe one, and share a story about that song, and to let people know when next time they hear it, maybe they hear it in a different way, and they think about it in a different way.
I can. Yeah. I mean, whatever.
Let's do that, and then
I mean, I try and do that. I do that when I do my acoustic stuff too. You know what I mean? I talk about this is why, how this song was written at an acoustic gig. I might do like a whole little thing going to source. So yeah, whatever. I mean, if anybody, I mean, you want to pick or you want to have the?
No, delve into something. Maybe pick a song that means the most to you. What's one song of yours that, like, when you play it, dude, it comes from the deepest
I mean,
part of
honestly,
your
I don't
heart.
want to. And I'm not trying to be dodgy.
Yeah.
I don't do anything that doesn't. I'm
Okay.
not. You know what I mean? Like if I have people ask me like, hey man, you should do. It may be a cover song. You should do this song.
Mm-hmm.
If I can't do it, if I can't really be in it,
Right.
I can't do it. It might be the perfect song. It might be the perfect song. There's a perfect song for you to sing.
What's
it
the
might
first
be.
song that comes to mind, though?
There's Long Island Sound.
All right.
I could say Blackbird. I could say the new one, The Chain. There's a lot of.
Let's talk about The Chain.
Okay, yeah, that's fine.
I haven't heard this one, so I want to know about it before I hear it.
The Chain is a new song that I wrote. My buddy Keith Peterson, he actually came up with the title. He said we ride. Jason rides motorcycles too, so
Yeah.
we ride. We're motorcycle fanatics, and there's this whole other Zen thing that you get into when you ride a motorcycle because you're paying attention to nothing and everything at the same time, and I love motorcycling.
Have you ever read the book Zen and
The Art of Motorcycling. Yeah.
It's a good one. It's a good book.
And I will get lost for especially during the shutdown. It's nothing for me to go out and be gone for 8 hours on a motorcycle. Nothing. I'll do that any day. But my friend and I were talking. I've been sober for 6 years. He's thank you. He's sober also, and we were just talking about more so for him than for me. Motorcycling was a way to help him maintain sobriety, right? Yeah. It's definitely there's a mental health aspect of it.
Dang right.
For me, but for him that was that was the thing. So he was just he was like this is the what about the chain that freed me? He's like, the motorcycle chain.
Yeah, man.
And I was like, man, that's a pretty cool title.
I love it.
So I just sort of like worked it. It just became The Chain, and then that's what the song. I introduced the song when I play it. I said this is a song about motorcycles and mental health, or mental health through motorcycling.
Freaking love it.
Thank you, man.
All right. So, let's take a couple of questions from the fortunate souls that are here this morning with us. What's up?
So you and I discussed this morning, and I have a vision of musicians, and it's basically three different things, and we've talked about two of them. And one is you're a great musician, and two is you're a great artist. You create and write music. And three is, and the first two you can hear on CDs and streaming and so forth, but the third one is you're a great entertainer. And
Well, thank you for all three.
So I want to just announce this through the mic, just for those who are listening at home and maybe you couldn't hear that. He hasn't asked the question yet, but I wanted to preface it that this question was Ray Friend, the guy whose vision is Flatiron Crossroads back there. He was like, he kind of says there's three qualities to being a entertainer, performer, I guess you could say. One is showmanship. One is being a true artist. And then it was, what's the third one? A musicianship. Okay. Musicianship, artistry, showmanship. All right. Go ahead. What's the question?
So we've talked about musicianship, and we've talked about creativity and artistry. But the thing that really elevates you above all of the rest is when you get up on that stage and you become an entertainer. And there's all kinds of aspects of being an entertainer that has nothing to do with the music itself. But when incorporated in that, it elevates you. So tell us a little bit about, have you thought about that? And when you think about it, how do you incorporate that?
So the question was, those three elements. Does Anthony think about them when he gets up on a stage?
Well, yeah, and I think specifically the entertaining part is what he was asking. I try not to. It's best to not think about it.
Yeah, man.
I don't. You know what I mean? I don't think about it. It's kind of like this.
Woo! Yeah, I will freak out.
Yeah, I don't.
Let's
I
start
don't.
thinking
I
about
don't
it.
try. I don't try. And I'm sorry about the sunglasses before. I was just a little. I wasn't trying to be like Joe Bonamassa or something up here. Like I just. I don't think about it. I just kind of do my thing and try and release myself into what I'm doing. Be completely in the moment. In the music, yeah. I mean, and all of this, there's for me personally, there's a parallel with what I've done musically and where my career has gone, and ironically, my sobriety.
Yeah,
And
man.
part of why I think that works is because the further I get away from the Anthony that used to drink, the closer I get to my authentic self and the search for my authentic self.
Yes.
And committing to being my authentic self all the time.
It's also that
If
energy
I'm on
you're putting out
stage,
there too,
it's,
brother.
you're
putting out positive energy. Too.
I'm trying to, yeah,
Yeah,
I'm
man.
trying
and
to.
that positive energy is coming back to you.
Yeah,
Tenfold,
yeah, I
bro.
feel it, man. Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, dude. So, man, I
To
any other-
answer your question, I don't think about it. I just be.
But you do think about it because I've watched you, and you think about it because of what you wear.
Well, I kind of wear the same. I kind of wear the same thing. Like if you see me in a grocery store, you'd be like, "Dude, you on your way to a gig? Like, is there a stage here?" I'm just me, dude, for real. Like, look, I got my mustache waxed all the time. It's the way it is. You know what I mean? Like I'm constantly my authentic self.
You're in character of you all the time.
It's not a character. It's just who I'm just trying.
Right.
I'm just myself. I'm
Yeah.
literally like.
But you do feel your music when you're on stage.
I do.
So that is.
That's more right. So maybe from a
And expressing it visually.
right from a performance aspect, it's more meditative than it is than a performance. I'm trying everything that I could do, or not trying. I'm releasing and trying to be an open channel is really what I'm doing. So what some people might see as a performance is literally just me trying to.
That's right.
I'm doing questionable speed down a back road, paying attention to nothing and everything at the same time. And it's the same thing when I'm playing music, That's why, like I said, when we did back when we did our tour, and we're playing like 20,000 seat plus venues, I did not write a set list. I conceded on some shows, and because the guys in the band were like, "Dude, I need a set list. This is driving me." I'm like, "All right, you get the first song. This is the first song. This is what we're going to start with," which was different every time we played. But I would pick the first. I'd say, "This is the first song we're doing," and then listen. You have to listen. If you can't listen, if you can be on stage with people and have your ears open with 20,000 people screaming, then what are you doing? What are you doing? Are you playing? I'm not. That's the game I want to be in. I want to play with people who are there to play music,
Yes,
to
sir.
share it with those people, not to perform for those people.
That's
you
right.
know?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
That's kind of my
Yes,
thing.
sir.
Thank you.
Yeah, man. I'm gonna be honest with y'all. The last thing I ever thought in life is that I'd be a host of a show like this, and I had to like come to terms with my authentic self to just walk out here today and not just just be myself.
Well, it's
a game.
And that's
a
the
mind
thing.
game.
It is a mind game, but it's also at the same time. The more you do it, the more you do. You know what I mean? Like
Well,
it just.
I think that it's an injustice if I'm not being myself.
Absolutely.
I'm giving you an injustice if I'm out here and I've got something pre-planned for a gimmick. I don't want that. And
it's not. That's
So,
not.
yeah. It's got to come from the heart and from the soul, man. And
I think it's just the way you should conduct. You should conduct yourself as a human being. You know what I mean?
Yes, sir.
Like, just be authentic. And
Be
sometimes,
authentic.
There's whatever. That's a whole different thing. There's, especially in the world the way it is today. Look, there's people that are like, maybe they're, I don't want to say undesirable or whatever, or they have conflicting views as you or whatever. Just accept it for what it is. You don't have to hate that person.
That's
You know what I mean? It's just like anything else. Like somebody. I don't like pomegranates. My kids and my wife, they love pomegranates. I don't have time for it. I'm not doing it. I'm not. You know what I mean? I'm not going to do it. But I don't judge anybody else for something stupid like that. You know what I mean? Like there's just so much of that going on now where it's, people are so tied up in their own ego and their own thing of like, it's like, man, just let everybody be.
Yes,
Just
sir.
be and be your authentic self, and that's it. And if somebody doesn't like it, they don't like it. And it's
that's
just,
right, brother. Yeah, man.
I don't know. It's weird.
That's right.
Sorry, I didn't mean to get all.
No, man, that's why we're
Like,
here. That is why we're here. I wanted to hear your honest self, your authentic self speak, and talk to you the way we would at Jesse's Taqueria when we're doing a motorcycle ride, So y'all want to do one more question, and then let's have Anthony play a song. Anybody else from the audience?
It's like he's talked enough.
What's up, brother?
You're going to put out 3 versions of a song.
Right.
Do you put them on the same record, or do you put them out separately?
I don't know. I mean, I have thought about that. In one of my sort of scenarios is instead of putting out one record, I maybe put out an EP that's a rock EP, an acoustic EP, a country EP, and a blues EP, and some songs might be on, on different things. But really, the way the world works now, who buys records? Unless it's vinyl, an actual record, you know what I mean? I've been thinking a lot about like, wouldn't it be, this may be getting too much into the business thing of being a musician, but generally your CDs, you sell at shows.
Yeah.
Downloads and the internet is where people consume and listen to music mostly now. That being said, I could put out 4 different versions of a song, put it on my Spotify, and you could just pick whatever one you want to listen to. You don't have to, you don't want to listen, you don't like one, you don't have to listen to it. You know what I mean? You like all 4 of them, you can like all 4 of them. Compare and contrast as you'd wish. You know what I mean? Like, that's fine. But as far as a CD goes, most CDs, hard copies, are sold at shows, which is not a lot going on right now. So I thought that would be a good experiment to release these songs digitally, and then people can hear all different things. What I would love to be able to do is have the ability to, you're at a show, you come to see Anthony Rosano play, and then maybe that night I did an acoustic version of The Chain, not an electric version, and that's the first time you heard it, and that's what you wanted, but you wanted it on a CD where it could be made for you right there at the show. You could just pick your own. Here, this is the thing. It's like you pick these 10 songs, you get them on a CD. Here's the album cover. Anyway, it's just like another outside thing there for how music gets out to the world. But yeah, I don't know. I just know I'm writing songs. I'm recording them. I like multiple different versions of me personally. I can't decide. I literally can't decide, like, which one do I want to present to people to hear? you know, and I think they all represent the same sentiment in a different way. And it's an opportunity to connect with people that maybe don't like hard rock. They might like the acoustic version, you know. It's just like with shows. I mean, I think you maybe have the same thing. There's people who come to see me play acoustic that don't necessarily come to see me with the band. Yeah, and there's people who come to see me play with the band that don't come to see me acoustic. It's just their preference, and it's just their musical preference. It's what they like. So if they could do that when it's live, why not give people the opportunity to do that with what they choose to listen to as well, you know?
Closer, you know, because Rosano's have got that capture. It's on a
And I think things are going different in the industry. I think it's almost just to stay relevant as an artist, you're putting out singles now. and because people listening to a whole album nowadays, it's sad but it's a rare occurrence. People are just listening to singles, and a lot of times they might like your song and then they forget who the hell it is, you know. So it's a really strange whirlwind out there right now.
The way the general public, you know, listens to music has completely changed.
Yeah, man.
And I'm included in that. You know, there's.
Likewise, man.
Yeah, I mean, I pay for my Spotify. I don't do the free one. I pay for Spotify. But you know, and I discover stuff on Spotify too.
Me
it's
too.
Not, you know,
I love it.
Yeah, I do. And it's not, I can't
or rediscover things that I'm like, oh my God,
right?
Screaming Headless Torsos. Oh, I've never heard of that group. You know, and I'm like, why have I never heard of this group?
Coincidentally, not you would think, but not a heavy metal band.
No,
not a heavy metal band, but they are. Yeah.
Ant, why don't you get up and play us a song, man? Song or two. Thank you for being here, y'all, and we'll come back after he gets done playing a song or two, and we'll conclude the show. Thanks for being here, everybody. Get up and have some fun, man.
Yeah, man.
Lost myself in Blacksburg, headed eastward toward the sea. Traded off who I was for who I was supposed to be. Keep twisting on this throttle and holding on for my dear life. Since I threw away that bottle for 2 kids and a wife, oh, I never thought a chain would be the thing that sets me free. 500 miles of blacktop and a smell of gasoline, keeping it wide open, throwing caution to the breeze. Oh, I never thought that a chain would be the thing that sets me free. Made it to the coastline and scrambled up the shore. Everything just felt right, better than I was before. Right out after the sun sets, let darkness be my guide. Oh, I forget all my regrets when I'm worn out by your side. I never thought a chain would be the thing sets me free. 500 miles of blacktop and the smell of gasoline, keeping it wide open and throwing caution to the breeze. Oh, I never thought a chain would be the thing that sets me free. No, I never thought that a chain would be the thing that sets me free.
Thank you so much. Thank you. I got to do this one. I have to do this one acoustic too. This is one of those pen to paper that we were talking about, like it just sort of happens songs. Definitely this has been the song that I think has resonated or connected with the most people. Certainly one of the most personal songs for me that I've ever written. And I was lucky enough to get the opportunity to I moved down to Virginia in 1996, and I hadn't played in New York since then. And being on the road with, I was on the road with this guy named Bob Seger. I don't know if you ever heard of him. He was a good, Uncle Bob. Anyway, he was super cool guy, and I'm extremely thankful for the opportunity that he'd given me. But I got to play back in New York. I hadn't played back in New York since I left in '96, and my first gig back happened to be at Madison Square Garden. So it was an incredible experience. And to what's that? I was slumming. I did invite all my high school teachers that when I dropped out told me I'd be digging post holes for the rest of my life. I'm like, you want to come to the show? Be my guest. Anyway, so I got the opportunity to play this song there. It's a song I wrote about where I grew up, Long Island, New York, and I wrote this song for somebody special to me. Well, I wrote this song for my mom, who I love very much, and I don't get to see anymore. I get to visit with her every time I play this song, so this one's called Long Island Sound. I grew up on the island, raised on South Shore streets. We drove hot rod cars and snuck into bars when we were only 17. Never had a lot of money, oh, we always seemed to meet the ends. Spent our summer nights underneath street lights, sharing six-packs with our friends. Whoa, is this place I come from? Whoa, see, no matter where I go, I take the bright lights of the
city, in on Oak Beach, the lighthouse out in Montauk, and Nichols Road in Center Reach, Whispering Bull Smithtown, the Colds at Diner Seat, because the Long Island Sound will always be a part of me. Will be a part of me. Used to shoot pool on Main Street and hit Sundance for band or two. Take 27A across the South Oyster Bay, hit the beach and then we kick off our shoes. Now it's time to head east out on Sunrise, hang a right on to Brentwood Road. I'm in a New York state of mind. Oh, it's been a real long time. I thank the Lord for Billy Joel and the bright lights of the city, the inn on Oak Beach, lighthouse out in Montauk, and Nichols Road in Center Reach, Whispering Bull Smithtown, the Colds at Diner Seat, because the Long Island Sound will always be a part of me. Will always be a part of me. But I have to get down on my hands and knees to tell about granddaughters and how proud I know she would be. Leave some flowers and a tear. It'll be another year that I keep my heart at home. You know, everywhere I go, I take the bright lights of the city, oh, the inn on Oak Beach, the lighthouse out in Montauk, and Nichols Road in Center Reach, Whispering Bull Smithtown, Colds at Diner Seat, the Long Island Sound will always be a part of me. Be a part of me. Be a part of me. It's this place that I call home. Oh, this is a place that I call
Thank you so much. Give it up for the robots, ladies and gentlemen. The robots. All that stuff was done. It wasn't pre-recorded. It was all done live, just for the record, for everybody out there.
Another round of applause for Anthony. You know, if you could leave here today, let's just say there's somebody out there watching, songwriter wanting to do their own thing. What's, maybe a piece of advice you would give them, man?
Just be yourself. Is this it on? Hello?
Hello.
Did I turn it back on? I thought I did. There we go.
There it is.
Just be yourself. Be yourself. That's all you really have to offer the world is yourself, your true, authentic self. I wouldn't be able to even be on stage if I wasn't comfortable with the fact that this is me, warts and all. You know what I mean? Like, that's it. You get what you get, and that's it. So,
but you're doing that. You have a gift, and you're pursuing the purpose of what God gave to you.
Thank you, man.
And yeah, man. Y'all, give it up for Anthony.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for tuning in. Thank you so much for tuning in.
Thank you, Ray.
For this first ever Flatiron Crossroads Soul of Music episode. And next month, I'm honored. I'm excited. I have a buddy of mine that I got to play with in a group called Jazz. That's a pretty big group here in the area in the R&B world. And there's a lot of talent in that group, Jazz. So if you haven't checked them out, check them out. But I met him. He was a vocalist with them. His name is John Holmes, a.k.a. Just John is his name he goes by. But he recently just got off. He went pretty far in this past season of The Voice. He really kicked some butt. And he's going to be joining me here on February 20th. He's got an album that's coming out. I mean, you're talking about it, this young man that's, a very good, very centered, very humble dude. And, and I think I talked to him earlier a couple days ago, and I was like, man, if you're going to be doing my show, bro, you got to do some original music for the people. So y'all stay tuned, spread the word about this, and I hope to, like I said, I want to enlighten us and bond this awesome, rich community that we live in, and let it plant the seed to even grow bigger than it already is.
The next one after that?
Yes, sir. Oh, yeah, Jay Sennett's going to be here in March. So, and we're going to be talking about,
He's going to be in session.
Jay Sennett.
He's going to be in session. He's going to be in session.
Yeah. Nah, thank you very much. Y'all have a great rest of your weekend,
Thank you,
y'all.
guys.
Thank you. Thank you for being here. Thanks so much.
No, thank you, man. It's cool, dude.
The Flatiron Crossroads, cut above the rest. Come down to the Flatiron, music at its best. Flatiron Crossroads, bring your family. Yeah, the Flatiron Crossroads, that's the place to be. Where people come to hear a tune or two, hang with friends, maybe have a brew. Ray's been known to tell a lie or two about where the devil's buried. They come from all around the state, see the building levitate, 'cause everyone's there to celebrate when nothing's ordinary. Flatiron Crossroads, cut above the rest. Come down to the Flatiron, music at its best. Flatiron Crossroads, bring your family. Yeah, the Flatiron Crossroads, that's the place to be. It's at the corner of the two main streets, where the folks of Wearneck always meet. An outstretched hand you're sure to greet someone who wants to know ya. In Gloucester County, just east of town, that's where the party will be found. The sheriff, he never comes around unless he's checking on ya. Flatiron Crossroads, cut above the rest, down to the Flatiron, music at its best. The Flatiron Crossroads, bring your family. Yeah, the Flatiron Crossroads, that's the place to be. Yeah, the Flatiron Crossroads, that's the place to be.
Ah, the Flatiron Crossroads, located at 7709 Flatiron Road in beautiful Gloucester, Virginia. Y'all come see us now.